Hi everybody. I thought I would talk just for a few minutes today on something that came up for me a long time ago when I first heard of the concept, and something that comes up for clients when I talk about it, and that is, what is hypnotherapy and why does it seem so scary to us? So first I'll start by kind of debunking what hypnotherapy or hypnosis is, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. It really is relaxing deeply and working with the subconscious mind to create new thoughts, beliefs, or behaviors. So the problem that I think a lot of us have, and certainly I did when I first heard about hypnotherapy, is that it seems a little bit scary to us, because it's almost like somebody else is there's this fear that somebody else is doing some kind of mind control. And certainly that's what has been portrayed in the media and TV shows, basically anywhere about hypnosis. It's always used in this like devious way. And I feel like that's a real shame, because it is simply one of the most incredible ways to recreate our deep-seated thoughts and bring in about new healthy healing ones. So why do we even need this in the first place? Like, why is this even a thing that has to be done? Well, we live in a society where there's a lot of conditioning, a lot of it in a negative way, being done to us from a very young age. We're bombarded with messages about why or how we're not enough, or things, to keep us afraid, divided, distracted, in a state of anger and fear. A really easy example is just through commercials and feeling like there's something more that we need, and if we don't have this latest gadget or toy or car or phone or computer, that we're not enough and that we should get it. So that is we're already being programmed, but in a bad way. So with hypnotherapy, we're doing it in a good way to bring about this positive way of being in our lives. So the other piece of what happens with conditioning is that in our families, we are often experience and hear things that are damaging to us. So even at a young age, especially if we go through a divorce, our parents go through a divorce, that can leave a deep-seated feeling sometimes of that we did something wrong, or that, of abandonment. Or it can be as innocuous as somebody saying at a young age, writers will never make any money, artists won't make any money. And so if we have an interest in writing or art, we might just shut it down, and that blocks a lot of our creativity and honestly our passion for many years. So what happens is when, and I work a lot with people on uncovering their soul purpose and their passion, when we say that there's something else we want to do, we don't like our jobs and we just want to do something else, but we don't know what, chances are we do know what. It's something that we've always been interested in or curious about, but there's a block. And often that block is held very, very deep. Like that fear of not being able to survive financially if we were to do something creative, or wanting to have a relationship with a partner, but there's a deep-seated fear of not being enough. Which could come from a childhood experience, like I mentioned. So talk therapy, is really helpful in many, many ways, but I often see clients who've been to therapy for years, and if they're at the place where there's something that's really deep that they experience at a young age especially, it's very difficult to excavate that subconscious thought or belief if it's buried very deep. And so what hypnosis does is it works directly with the subconscious mind and can remove that negative belief and replace it with a new one. So simply put, in a very relaxing state, you're just in a very deep meditation, relaxing your body, and you have this person, a hypnotherapist in that case, of which I am one, telling you positive affirmations, positive mantras. You're working past these blocks in your life. You're believing that you are enough as a person. You are, brilliant being of light. You have many gifts to offer the world. You can make a living from what you're doing, and things like that you learn. The hypnotherapist learns what that person feels and what that person wants to bring in their life, and uses those exact words. At least a good one will use your words in the hypnosis session. So I hope that helps kind of debunk a little bit of what hypnosis is. And as a former hypnotherapy client myself, I can tell you that the blocks that I had when I would get hypnotherapy, I just felt better, and I started believing more in myself, and eventually all these doubts and fears just started fading away. I just noticed they really weren't there as much. So it's a subtle thing. It's a subtle thing working with the subconscious mind. It's not just, give me a pill and make it go away tomorrow, which is why generally a series of 3 to 7 hypnotherapy sessions are recommended. Because it takes time to really create new thoughts and to convince that protective ego part of us that it's safe to let go of the tactics that it's used to keep us safe. This is kind of an inner child thing too, that it's okay to let down some of the guard, and that there are these new possible ways of being that are possible for you. The difference is that if I were to tell you some of this stuff, you can make a living as an artist. There's plenty of people that do it. They get creative. You can find a soul partner and find somebody that loves and honors you for who you are, that you are enough, you are worthy. You can find a career that fuels your soul and that you enjoy and that you make a living from. With your conscious mind, you might just not believe that, and you might come up with reasons why that's not true. When you're accessing the subconscious mind through hypnosis, it receives those statements some of them which I just made, and actually accepts them as truth. So then you start to believe, that creates a new belief in your mind that you just start to carry as more and more as truth. So that is really what the power of hypnosis is. It's deprogramming ourselves, because there's been many negative, cycles of thought that have been instilled in our minds, and creating new ones, because that's ultimately what we all want, right? Is to feel better and to believe in ourselves, because we are these amazing creatures filled with potential and expansion and hope and the ability to change and heal. So why not believe it? That's what I think holds so many people back, is that we limit ourselves by not believing that we can. So hopefully that gives you a little more information about hypnotherapy, about hypnosis, and debunk some of what you may have potentially heard or even believe. And I would say, try it. I have a hypnotherapy meditation link that I'm going to link here on my podcast, which is specifically about releasing anxiety. And I invite you to listen to that just to check it out. And if you're really curious, I'm also doing a group hypnotherapy class starting in a few weeks, where it's 4 sessions, and we meet in a small group and we do hypnotherapy together based on the things that you share with me you want to bring about in your life. And I'll put the link here if you're interested in that. You can join virtually as well. Or if you're ready to kind of dive in, I invite you to contact me for an individual session as well. All right, hopefully this has been helpful in some way. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.